Turning now to a wrap of your top stories of the day. Folks are going to be filling the skies with fireworks, but before you grab a lighter, WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane has a few reminders.
Good Friday morning. Happy 4th of July, everyone. If you're planning to light up some fireworks, there are some differences between what you can do in North and here in South Carolina. Now, it's important to know in North Carolina, the law is strict. Only sparklers and other things that don't explode or shoot up into the sky are allowed. Now, here in South Carolina, it's a different story. You can legally buy and use a wide variety of fireworks. It's important to know no matter what you do in North or South Carolina, if you do anything with fireworks, be safe and have a safe 4th of July.
And if you plan to hop on the grill, you want to make sure you proceed with caution. Make sure your grill is working properly. Wash your hands, keep raw meat away from other food, and cook it to the proper temperature. Things you probably know, but just in case.
This week, Governor Josh signed several new bills into law, including one that allows people to sign up to become organ donors while filing their tax returns, while vetoing 4 other bills, including 2 separate bills aimed at eliminating DEI in public education and in state agencies.
And a final look at traffic this morning. It is beautiful, but it is so quiet. I-85 there at Statesville Ave looks fantastic. Lots of green on our live traffic maps. Not a single accident to report. And if you're traveling anywhere, make sure you leave before noon today. Chris?
You gotta love the holidays. Great today, great tomorrow, not so much on Sunday. So Saturday's the pick of the weekend.
Wonderful.
All right, a reminder, the news doesn't end here. We're live with breaking news, weather, and traffic all day.
That's on WCNC Plus. We're streaming there live now. Join us.
Happy 4th, everybody. We are streaming live right now at 7 a.m. here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look at Uptown from our view cam on this Independence Day. A lot of people are going to be grilling out today. Let's get a check of that holiday forecast with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy.
This is an easy one. I don't have to stay up here and play weather PR saying, hey, make the most of today. No, because today is just hot and dry. That's all I need to know. You might pick up a few more clouds for the afternoon. Big whoop there. So we have a great forecast, and tomorrow, very similar. Tomorrow does have a few caveats if you live, say, in Chesterfield County to the southeast, because we have some tropical moisture and some tropical rain potentially heading our way on Sunday. This is not going to be a washout type of scenario, but a lot of pieces of an unraveling tropical system are heading our way. So happy 4th of July, everybody. We're starting off right around 70 degrees in Hickory, Shelby, same temperature in Albemarle, 74 in Monroe, and of course, Charlotte leading the pack at 75 right now. If you're cooking out today, 88 by noon, 92 by 3 p.m., and then 6 p.m. around 91. Those smoking meats probably going to be starting that pretty soon. And it's less humid also for this afternoon. I'm really excited about that forecast. Elsewhere, 76 in Banner Elk, feeling great, near perfect conditions up there. 90 degrees, Lenore and Hickory, Morganton and Maiden, you're sharing 91 degrees. Same thing for Statesville. 92 to about 94, I think, in general across the greater Charlotte area. Some of them even popping up to the mid-90s down to the southeast. But all of us dealing with a decent day. At worst, it's going to be a partly cloudy afternoon. And today officially will be day 16 in a row for Charlotte, hitting that heat streak. Now, during this range ranged anywhere from 90 to 100 degrees, but there's a good chance that could come to an end. Check this out. 92 tomorrow, and then 87 on Sunday. So I know that before we have said, oh, we're going to hit the 80s for the first time in over 2 weeks. Well, this is a much better shot because you have an outside player, an outside source, and it's right here. A 50% chance for development over the next 2 days, a 60% chance over the next day, 2.5 days, so 2 to 3 days time frame. And this little low, right now it's a little oblong, so it's asymmetrical as it's called. So likely this would be a subtropical storm if it does indeed form, but it's really starting to gain shape, and this will have a solid shot. The most recent update that we received, 30-mile-per-hour sustained winds. There's also a chance that if need-to-know basis, there actually could be some hurricane hunters that might fly through this because it could potentially make landfall. But right now, say if this checks a box and gets a center of circulation, then it will be a tropical depression, but we'll have a chance over the next 24 to 36 hours that we could be calling this subtropical storm Chantal. Check out our models. These are our spaghetti plots. Now, you can't trust them all. This is also some of the maddening thing about forecasting in general, or especially for tropical forecasting. There's hundreds of models. These guys are out to lunch saying it's going to go over to Georgia. So I'm really tracking right in between here, between Hilton Head and Charleston, even down to Savannah. It's that general range that we're seeing the center of circulation. But the thing with this storm, since it's a little bit oblong, as I mentioned, well, the center might be making landfall right around Charleston, but it's actually the eastern side that's going to have the heavier rain and the stronger wind. So anyone right along the South Carolina coast, not looking like a good beach day for your Saturday, even though it's not making technical landfall until a little bit later on, even into Sunday morning. Let's look at our futurecast heading through this coming weekend. We have a chance for rain on Sunday. For now, any green dots that you see pop up here, don't worry about it. If there are going to be clouds over the weekend, it's going to be a higher concentration down towards the south. So some mixing clouds possible during your Saturday afternoon. But watch, we actually insert some upper level clouds by the end of the day, and we see one chance for rain. If you live from Rockingham to Wadesboro to Chirac, after 3 o'clock, you could have a passing shower or cluster of thunderstorms that could work its way into Lancaster and right around Chester County to start off the evening. But Charlotte, you are trying to stay dry for the entirety of the day. That changes for your Sunday. Upper level clouds turn to mid-level clouds, and then we have an overcast setup to start off your Saturday or Sunday morning. And it's right around 5 o'clock that we're seeing the first signs of light rain. By the middle of the morning, we could be dealing with a few hours of rain depending where you are. Now, since it's all about where this system is coming from, if you live to the southeast, you're looking at higher rain totals. If you live east of I-77, you're seeing rain first, and you're also seeing rain the longest. It doesn't really stretch too far up into the mountains. I think we will see a little bit of rain, but really in general from Charlotte to Rockingham, it's this area east of I-77 that has most of the activity. It will eventually transition during the middle of the afternoon that those west of I-77, Shelby, Gastonia, Lincolnton, you'll be seeing more rain compared to some of our eastern neighbors. And then eventually by the evening, this is is unraveling. The system jogs off towards the north and east, and then it's no more. So if it is named Chantal, we will likely only have that for less than a day. The first two storms that we had, Andrea and Barry, only lasted 12 and 18 hours. I think this is going to be the same case and scenario, not lasting long. But the one thing that this system is going to leave behind is that tropical moisture. So we're going to be feeling it going forward. Because check out our rain chances. It dips back to just isolated ranges on Monday and Tuesday, but with the aid of a front, we have a likely chance for rain and storms Wednesday heading into Thursday. So that's a different beast. And also, we're feeling a lot more humid. And today and tomorrow, it'll actually feel borderline decent compared to where we're going. We don't have the air you can wear. So great for watching the Charlotte FC game tomorrow. Just note that we will have a better chance for lack of sunshine and rain for your Sunday after that. Lower to the mid-90s next week as we're back to what summertime does. Majestic, you're now seeing what it's like to do traffic on a holiday.
It is so quiet out there. I mean, take a look at your TV screen. There is hardly anything going on. So, hey, if you do have some place to be, I know many of us, we're still working. It's going to be a great time to head out the door. And better yet, it is absolutely gorgeous for a 4th of July morning out there. A whole lot of sunshine. Grab that those sunglasses and some water. Stay hydrated today. Again, according to AAA, the worst times to travel will be between noon and 7 o'clock. The best time between now and noon. But as you can see in my live traffic map, I mean, we hardly have anything going on. So if you are heading out today, it should be pretty good for you. Now, maybe you're staying in town. We do have some roads that'll be closed in the Myers Park neighborhood. They're having a neighborhood parade. They're inviting everyone to come down, your kids, your dogs, even inviting people to just walk in the parade wearing your red, white, and blue. They're going to have live music, food trucks, all the things. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning. The starting point is at Queens University Clock Tower, and then it concludes again out there on Selwyn Avenue. So a really fun thing to do early for your 4th of July morning. Otherwise, look at my map. I told you, it's looking good. A whole lot of green. That's a nice way to start the day. If you're going to be traveling in the uptown area or maybe just going out for a walk, it's going to be a nice morning to do that. Even Independence, I mean, I hardly ever see it all green this time of the day, and that's exactly what you can expect if you're heading that direction. Or if you're coming in from South Carolina, good morning to you from Rock Hill to Fort Mill. Looks great. I'll keep a close eye on things, but for now, Ben, it looks incredibly nice for anyone who is heading out.
Perfect. We like that. Well, if you're headed to the pool today or maybe the grill or both, folks across the country are going to be spending their days outdoors for the 4th.
Now, at night, expect the sky to light up with fireworks. But before you grab a lighter, WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is here this morning with some reminders to keep you and your loved ones safe. And we know that there are laws that govern the fireworks that you can and cannot use depending on where you live.
Now, that's absolutely correct. Here in South Carolina, it's legal to have fireworks. North Carolina, a little bit more strict. But it's important to note when you make your way out to some of these places to buy your fireworks that even in South Carolina, you pay attention to certain city and town ordinances just in case. But basically, when you look at this video, everyone loves fireworks. Look at those fireworks up in the sky. Not all of our pets do, of course, but we love the fireworks. We want to have them. And sometimes folks want to light them in their own house. But if you're in North Carolina, it's not as permissible as in South Carolina. The law is strict here in the Tar Heel State in North Carolina, and they don't want non-exploding fireworks going off. Anything that shoots in the air or explodes is illegal. But just across the border here in South Carolina, it's much different. You can legally buy a wide variety of fireworks, and you light them up all you want. That difference will send a lot of North Carolinians down here to South Carolina to pick up their wanted fireworks and have fun with them. But of course, if you do that, taking them back to North Carolina, that can lead to some fines or stiff penalties. So no matter where you're celebrating, and safety is always the key thing, folks out there. Just remember that safety is the biggest thing. So never ever relight a dud. Always supervise when there are children around, just to make sure everyone has a safe and pleasant 4th of July. Take a listen.
You can take a regular red Solo cup, punch a small hole in it, insert your sparkler, and hold it about an inch away, and then suddenly you don't have to worry about any sparks or heat getting to you, so some of the young children feel more protected and safe. Never light anything holding it in your hand, but we recommend setting bricks on each side so you don't have a possibility of any tip over. Same way with a Roman candle. Once you're done, and don't put these in your hand, you can set them in your tube and always launch your Roman candle or any bottle rockets from your tube.
Yeah, that's some great advice. Right here at Area 51 Fireworks, they have been stocking up all through the night in expectation of a lot of people making their way here to pick up last-minute fireworks for their fire displays tonight, here legally and safe, of course. Lady in that car that you're looking at, we just spoke to her. She said she's waiting. It opens at about 8 o'clock, so she's waiting so she can pick up and stock up on some fireworks. But again, if you have any questions, go to our website. We have more information on what you can and can't do in both states, but be safe and have a safe 4th of July. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Richard Devane, reporting live for us there in South Carolina. Richard, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And perhaps you're looking for some alternative to fireworks this weekend. There are some out there. We did some research and found some good alternatives include glow sticks, of course, bubbles. You can even grab glow-in-the-dark bubbles and confetti cannons. Instead of fireworks, you can check out different laser light shows or drone shows if there are any out there, or switch things up and just start a new tradition and watch outdoor movies instead. Hopefully the fireworks won't be too loud for that. Well, if the fireworks kept you up overnight, your pets probably did. Animal experts say fireworks can be triggering for our pets and cause them to get anxious and in some cases even run off. Melissa Nicely from the city's animal shelter joined us on WCNC Plus, emphasizing the importance of having a plan for your pet.
Or if you're having a party at your house, I always tell everyone my favorite place to recommend people to put their cat or their dog if they're very anxious is your walk-in closet, especially in your bedroom, because it's muffled with all of the clothes that you have in there.
Yeah.
And so it makes a perfect spot to put their bed, maybe put something soothing like their blankets and that sort of thing, maybe even put a radio in there.
Good things to keep in mind. You can always catch conversations like this one right here on WCNC Plus. Download it to your favorite streaming device and watch for free.
7:12 now. This is a live look from Washington, D.C. You see the White House there. Today, President Trump is expected to sign his sweeping domestic policy bill into law. Now, it was a tight vote as GOP leaders worked behind the scenes to get enough members on board to get that bill to the president's desk.
It keeps tax cuts in place and increases spending for the military and border security. NBC's Ryan Nobles has more on the reaction last night and what it means for you.
A major victory for the Donald Trump agenda.
The motion is adopted.
The House passing his multi-trillion-dollar sprawling spending bill designed to fund a wide range of campaign promises, including extending tax cuts passed in his first administration, new military spending, and money to fund a mass deportation plan, paying for it in part with steep cuts to food aid benefits, clean energy funding, and Medicaid. President Trump celebrating the win before flying to a victory rally in Iowa.
This is a great bill. This is going to be a great bill for the country.
The bill passed largely on party lines, with only 2 Republicans voting against it. One of those, Pennsylvania Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, who dodged NBC News' questions.
Why did you vote no?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Why did you vote no?
House conservatives balked at the changes made in the Senate, holding back their votes for hours, before they finally relented without a single thing in the bill changing. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Do you think they caved?
No, I don't think they caved. Look, I think every member made a thoughtful and informed decision.
President Trump working the phones until the early morning hours. The holdouts say they got what they wanted.
Are you concerned that in the future, though, people won't believe that you guys are going to be a no on big issues like
I think
this?
they know we better be ready they better be ready to deal.
Democrats did everything they could to delay final passage. Their leader, Hakeem Jeffries, setting a record by holding the floor for more than 8 hours, attacking the bill's overhaul of social safety net programs like Medicaid and SNAP, which could lead to millions of Americans losing access to coverage.
We were a hell no last week, a hell no this week, a hell no yesterday, a hell no today.
But Republicans argue Medicaid is in need of reform, and the bill is filled with the president's priorities, like eliminating taxes on tips and overtime. Republicans taking a victory lap following the vote. All Smiles is one of the signature songs from the Trump campaign rallies played in the room.
Ryan Noble's reporting for us there. To get more insight on the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, we talked to UNC Charlotte professor Dr. Eric Heberlig live here on WCNC Plus. He touched on the political efforts it took to turn some of the Republican holdouts, many of them here in North Carolina, to vote for this.
Just kind of curious your take on how this was able to get done, because we knew there were some holdouts in the Republican Party, and that was threatening the passage.
There were. President Trump was an advocate for his own package. He spent a lot of time calling and meeting with members of Congress. Apparently made a number of promises to deal with some of the issues that caused the objections of some Republicans, and they trust him to follow through on that, and that was enough to earn their votes to pass it. Sure, President Trump made it clear that he wanted this voted on by Independence Day. Kind of a symbolic way of linking patriotism to the passage of his legislation, and they were able to get it done. And I think Senator Tillis's events of the weekend probably helped pull some of those reluctant Republicans in line, that they saw, well, if you cross the president, your career is at risk. So they were willing to swallow their doubts and vote for it and avoid taking on Trump and his supporters in a Republican primary and taking their risk with the general electorate in November.
As a professor, what are you telling your students as far as, things to watch as they either watch the news or just watch how things are developing, how to be more educated consumers of political messaging and or, headlines in general? I'm just curious what you're telling your students.
Yeah, so the Tillis case was one where I actually emailed my students about it over the weekend because it really illustrated a number of the themes we've talked about, particularly the power of the parties in Washington, the polarization that we've seen, that one of the few senators who tries to work across party lines, build coalitions, basically said it's impossible to do so in Washington. It's impossible to win even in a competitive state like North Carolina because either I can't get past the primary or can't get credit from the other side for doing it, so I'm going to go home and join my grandkids. And that's a loss for all of us when you don't have many members who even think it's worth the effort of trying to be bipartisan, and those who do just throw up their hands in frustration and leave the battlefield to those who are less willing to be bipartisan. So we get the conflict and the acrimony that we all say we don't want.
As we move beyond the one big beautiful bill, which we, expect at this point, since it's going to the president's desk that he would sign it, he will sign it. What other things are you watching right now?
So I think that a couple keys from the North Carolina perspective, what names do we get for the Senate race? That'll drive our politics over the next year and a half. In Washington, is this really Congress's last big act? President Trump has been using executive orders purposely to try to avoid coming to Congress. Now that he's gotten what he really wants out of Congress, is Congress going to do anything significant for the rest of the term?
All right, 7:18, and let's check in with Chris. This is an all-important forecast. You're talking about the holiday on a Friday, a long weekend for a lot of folks.
Yeah, and as some people are celebrating, like those who live around the Charlotte area, those who have beach plans in South Carolina, maybe not so much. And that's the tricky part about hurricane season, is that anything like this can develop. And right now it's just a cluster of thunderstorms, but if you look really closely, you can see that they are starting to rotate on themselves. Technically, the center of circulation is right here associated with the system. So it has the fancy name Tropical Wave Invest 92L. So the way that the naming system goes in the Atlantic, by the way, it starts with 90, goes to 99, and then they recycle through. So that's just what they name the investigations. The L represents Atlantic. If this is over in the Pacific, it's actually an E for Eastern Pacific. So now you know. Right now we have sustained winds at 30 miles per hour. So the way that this works, once those winds go up to 39 miles per hour and there's a closed center of circulation, we are talking about moving on from a tropical depression to a tropical storm. Now, likely this would just be a subtropical storm, and the reason for that is that we don't have all the right criteria that's associated with it. So here, I want to bring up the surface map that's associated with this. So this is just the low. You can see where the center of circulation is. So actually the heaviest rain is on the southern and the eastern side of that. That's also another indication that this is actually more of a subtropical event, so not your typical tropical one. So if it does get named, it would be Chantal is the next name, and it'd be likely subtropical storm Chantal. A lot would have to generate for this to actually be a tropical storm, but hey, that could still happen. But also another indication too is that there's some troughs attached to this. So sometimes when you have some other scales like this, like a trough at the low, it would be more of a subtropical storm. But regardless, could it still have the same impacts? But subtropical storms usually don't get as strong, and they won't become a hurricane either. I think the main thing that we're dealing with here is maybe some gusty winds associated with this along Charleston down to Savannah up to Myrtle Beach, but still not a good beach day regardless. Check out our max winds going forward. We start to see that center of circulation start to develop really over the course of the next 24 hours. So I think if there is going to be an upgrade, it will be later on today and overnight. That's kind of that sweet time frame, but a little bit more likely for your Saturday. At that point, you're also seeing some gustier winds, seeing actually a little bit close to the closed center of circulation, but most of the stronger winds are on the eastern side. That's pretty typical for these storms in general, seeing some of those peaks up to about 40 to 50 miles per hour and sustained winds pretty close to 40 miles per hour. So that's why we're going to be really close to that 40 mile per hour threshold. But then also, you don't have a lot of time for development. So I'll get over to our long-range forecast with this. It's really interesting that this really out of nowhere is going to turn its way to the northwest, and it will affect our forecast for this Sunday. So check it out. You're looking at overcast skies, eventually giving way to rain, especially down to the southeast. This will be on and off throughout the course of the day, and then eventually it'll unwind and move its way off towards the north and east. So even though we are seeing it leave us on a Sunday night, it's actually going to leave a lot of tropical moisture behind, as these systems often do. And then this is also going to bring our high temperatures down to 87 degrees. The only way that we would be able to outdo that or get back up to 90 is if it leaves a little bit earlier and we see a little bit more sunshine for the afternoon. But regardless, you're back to that summertime pattern where it's muggy, it's hot, with a chance for daily storms, especially in the late afternoon heading into the early evening. More so on Wednesday and Thursday, where we already have likely chances for showers and thunderstorms. Welcome back to that summer pattern, but it's nice to be dry and it's nice to be calm for now. And speaking of calm, that's where our traffic is.
It's been really quiet and actually quite beautiful, comfortable outside if you do have some place to be. If you're traveling this morning, I mean, you couldn't have picked a better time to head out because it is sunny and we don't have a whole lot of cars out there. I-77 north of Griffith, of course, out towards Lake Norman. It's going to be a popular destination this weekend. Make sure you're staying safe, staying hydrated. Don't forget the sunblock, all the things. Heading out in York County, good morning to you. You can see roads are nice and dry. The sun is shining. We don't have a whole lot of congestion out there either. Live traffic map, I'm seeing all green. We've only had one accident this morning. Hopefully we can keep it that way. It has now since cleared. We'll go ahead and zoom it on in though. If you just so happen to be in the uptown area, if you have to travel, you can see mainly green. Much of the same right along Independence. If you're traveling from Matthews out towards Providence, 485, the inner and outer loop look fantastic. And even if you're coming in from South Carolina this morning, good morning to you. I'm not seeing any slowdowns, really no problems out there. We'll take another check on those roads coming up here shortly, but for now it looks great.
Majestic, thanks so much. Well, there are plenty of ways to celebrate across our area. In Waxhaw, they are kicking off festivities early with the Independence Day Parade that starts at 10 this morning. It starts off on McDonald Street and will make its way through downtown on North and South Main Streets. Then you can spend your evening at Red, White, and Belmont. The celebration will kick off with a concert Friday night live style, along with food, fun, and fireworks, of course. That starts at 6 tonight in Stowe Park. It's free to get in. Officials encourage you to bring your own lawn chairs and some blankets. And there are lots of other events. You can find all the information you need on the featured section of our website. That's WCNC.com, or on the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. You can find it for free on your phone's app store.
All right, we're going to take a quick break as we take a live look right now over Uptown on this 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, folks. Get another check of your forecast and traffic right here on WCNC Plus.
morning and happy 4th of July, y'all. 70 degrees right around Hickory, 75 in Charlotte. So we're at our lows for the day, and then quickly we'll be warming up. We'll be at 88 degrees before you know it for noon. Hot dogs, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Less humid, though, by the mid to late afternoon hours. That's nice, with high temperatures in the lower to the mid-90s. Actually upgraded to 94 just like yesterday. 92 for your Saturday. 87 with more clouds on Sunday. Sunday, good chance for showers and storms. Check it out. Rain really sweeping across the morning, and then on and off pulse storms possible on a mostly cloudy to an overcast day. After that, the usual summertime pattern starts to build. We have the mid-90s Monday and Tuesday with the chance for a developing storm late day heading into the evening. And Wednesday and Thursday separate themselves. More clouds and also better chance for storms heading into the evening. Majestic, what's going on this quiet morning?
Well, it is really, really quiet on those roads. It is looking fantastic. If you have any place to be, it is gorgeous outside. If you're heading out for your morning time walk, or if you are heading out of town, I'm not seeing any problems out there. Here's I-77, South Carolina. Good morning to you, coming straight out of York County. One fun thing you might want to do with the kids this morning is head out to Myers Park. They're having their neighborhood parade starting at 10 o'clock this morning, inviting you to wear your red, white, and blue. Hope you have a great day. Streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington. Happy 4th.
And I'm Ben Thompson. This morning we are following a growing trend of homelessness for students here in Charlotte. Right now, the number of identified unhoused students has jumped by nearly 1,000 over the last 2 years.
That's according to data from a homeless assessment. WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard shares how one nonprofit is seeking solutions ahead of the next school year.
Well, Freedom Fighting Missionaries is hoping to raise $1 million ahead of the next school year, all in efforts of housing 50 families, which includes 150 CMS school students. Tucked behind school walls lies a quiet struggle. Children, along with their families, searching for a place to call home.
Keep in mind, these are primarily working families.
Kenny Robinson, the founder of Freedom Fighting Missionaries, has been working for years to tackle the issue. Now he's working with different landlords and property owners to find solutions.
Our goal is to assist 50 families, which an average of 150 children. We'll be focusing on McKinney-Vento homeless children who have a parent or caregiver whose barrier to safe, affordable housing is due to a previous background.
Robinson says parents and caregivers with a criminal background are some of the most vulnerable when it comes to housing. That's why they're working ahead of the next school year to help families find permanent placement.
That is to provide rental subsidies for up to 2 years for the families to help them get in a position to become self-sufficient and be able to sustain on their own. We have a plan and we have a goal, and now we just need the funding to make it all work.
The plan comes with $1 million price tag. A heavy lift for a nonprofit, but one, Robinson says, is a small price to pay to break generational cycles. He says sometimes to help a child, you have to help their parents first.
No fault of the children of what the parents are going through, what their past may be. But these are children who are in CMS schools and have expectations of being able to perform at the rate of a student who's not homeless.
Now, Robinson says the program just doesn't include housing. It also includes other barriers that intersect, like financial assistance as well as food assistance. If you'd like to contribute to the cause, log onto our website. That's WCNC.com. Reporting for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Tradisha Woodard.
7:32 right now on WCNC Plus, and controversy continues in Gastonia over how that city cares for some of its homeless neighbors during this dangerous heat we've seen over the last few weeks. City leaders held an emergency meeting today, or yesterday rather, addressing the city's outdoor cooling station.
You have people that spent money. I just left the Salvation Army building, and we had Help Carolina with a van packing up all of their stuff that they donated. Because of what?
Concerns rose over the setup earlier this week, so leaders announced that they would move the station indoors to the former Salvation Army building. Gastonia Mayor Richard Frank says they need to find a permanent solution.
I'll put everybody on this council on notice, because the one thing is, everybody that sits on this dais was elected by the citizens of Gastonia, and we will not fail them again.
Says he'll call a daily meeting until they find answers for the people who need it.
7:33 now, taking a live look outside. Many people are planning to be out and about on this Independence Day. Chris has a check on our July 4th forecast.
Yeah, it looks like people are already getting ready to get on the boat this morning. All right. We are going to have a little bit more cloud cover than what we had yesterday, but that's not really going to hinder any outdoor plans. It's gorgeous right now over Lylesville, loving those green trees down below. And your 4th of July weekend, you can see that 2 of the 3 days have the sunnier symbol, and then we have more rain possible on Sunday. That icon might even be upgraded to an all-rain situation for some of us, but I think there will be some breaks in the clouds as we work our way into the afternoon. Chance for thunderstorms during the afternoon as well. And that's all because of a potential tropical system. But first, I want to feature our dog of the day that we had over on WCNC, Riley from Eva and Steve, and Riley's ready for the 4th of July. Temperatures right around 90 degrees between 1 and 2 o'clock, and then we will get into the mid-90s for some of us. I have a high of 94 degrees for today, and then you'll have that general range about 92 to 94 across much of the greater Charlotte area under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. This time winds out of the east-northeast at about 7 to 12 miles per hour, so the slightest breeze. Yesterday we hit 94. Well, let's do it again. Another copy and paste type of forecast. Very, very similar. We are also going to have another dry trend for today, and the streak continues. We can't stop our 90s. We won't stop, but there is that chance with a good possibility of only warming up through the 80s with a lack of sunshine for your Sunday. The reason why the last time we were calling for the 80s didn't check out is because the clouds cleared too early. Still a possibility. A lot can still change. The system truly hasn't even been named or truly developed or moved inland yet. So there is still a possibility that Sunday trends in a better direction. But regardless, we'll probably move to day 16 today and day 17, matching this the longest streak we've had in the last 3 years of 90 plus. If you're going to any fireworks displays for your Independence Day, yeah, it's picture perfect. It's actually less humid this evening than we've been over the last several evenings. 80 degrees by 11 o'clock. Once everything is past and gone, then we fall slowly through the 70s. I want to show you our high temperatures. Just because of that tropical system, that's why we have that one anomaly. And then other than that, you're 90 to 95, which is pretty much what we're rocking most of July. So the long range forecast, we're just back to normal. Here's that tropical development zone. It's interesting how this has evolved, but this time you can actually see it. Notice how much it's grown over the last day or so. So that shows that there's plenty of energy Plenty of moisture. Hurricanes, by the way, need 80-degree water temperature for them to thrive. And that's exactly what we have in this zone. I just checked it out. This is a range of about 82 degrees where it is. And this is actually the hot spot. It gets a little bit cooler once it rolls inland. And right now it could make landfall anywhere between Folly Beach and around Savannah. This is not your typical tropical storm if it does come to fruition. So it's the stronger winds are actually going to be just east of the center of rotation. And then there's also a chance that a trough is going to still be attached with this with the associated front, so it keeps a lot of widespread rain that instead, even if the landfall is right here in Charleston, the heaviest rain will actually be close to about Myrtle Beach. Regardless, this is not a great looking beach day, and those red flags are likely going to be out just because of the high surf, and it's also a high rip current danger. As for the Outer Banks, if you're going to the North Carolina beaches, not saying it's much better. I think it's mainly cloudy for much of your Saturday, but those rain chances start to really build as you work your way into the really overnight heading into your Sunday morning. Here's what the cloud cover looks like for the course of this weekend. We're sunny most of your Saturday, but right down here, watch. You have a chance for a passing shower, and that is primarily to end the day. And then you see that rain just twisting and churning through the area. I think that we have the most widespread rain in the morning, chance for isolated thunderstorms during the afternoon. Even though I've been calling for pretty much most of the activity east of I-77, I think that oftentimes with these systems, then it turns to the western side of I-77. They'll see the heavier rain before it moves back to the north and east. So one day that kind of separates from the rest. So one break from the 90s. The only, again, except to this rule was that some of us will see a little more sunshine up into the foothills because they don't get as many impacts here. And then we have the low to the mid 70s heading into next week. And then a higher chance for storms next Wednesday and Thursday as we return to that usual summertime pattern. It's hot, it's muggy, and we have a chance for storms to end the day. Now let's head over to Majestic. No chance here. It's happening right now.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is our Friday. It is our 4th of July. Whether you're heading in, staying in town or heading out of town, I'm not seeing any problems out there. It has been a very, very quiet start to our Friday morning. Not only quiet, but it is beautiful outside. You can see all that sunshine. This is coming in from York County. We don't have any accidents to report this morning. So far, all morning long since 5 a.m., I've only reported on one accident. As you're heading up north, if you're taking I-77, maybe you're packing up the family, you're heading to the lake, having a lake day. It's going to be fantastic, yes, but we're also not seeing any problems on the area roadways from Troutman to Cornelius, even through Huntersville. Even as we zoom it in, bring it back home to the uptown area, not seeing any congestion whatsoever. In Independence, I don't think I've ever seen it looking so good this time of the day. We'll keep a close eye on those roads for you, but Lisa, for now, I don't have much else to say.
Oh, that's good news. We'll take that, Majestic. Thanks so much. Speaking of traveling, a heads up today that all CATS buses and light rail will operate on a Saturday schedule. Also, the CATS call center, pass sales and information office in Uptown is going to be closed today. Meanwhile, if you have plans to head to Lake Norman, CATS will have a shuttle that can take you from the Cornelius Park and Ride to Ramsey Creek that is available throughout the weekend. As families gear up to celebrate the 4th, fireworks stands across the area are packed with shoppers. This year, many are feeling the pinch as prices are noticeably higher. At Red Rocket Fireworks in Fort Mill, workers say the customers are searching for the best deals, which is why they work to offer options for every family.
We do everything we can to keep our prices so good that any family can come in and with our help put together a good show.
The workers say despite the rising costs, the crowds keep coming, eager to celebrate safely. If you are purchasing fireworks, make sure they have passed safety checks. Make sure that you keep some water nearby and to take extra care with children around. Our Richard Devane will have more coming up with fireworks safety tips and what you can and cannot do with fireworks in the Carolinas. The grocery stores are packed this week with those looking for a good holiday cookout, and they're getting all the items they need.
That's right. And now there's a new app that claims it can help you save as much as 50% on groceries. We talked with Tyler Simmons on WCNC Plus right here, how about his app called Flash Food works.
So what are you seeing in terms then of how this is affecting families, especially during holiday seasons, this July 4th weekend, these rising costs of food?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's focused on the price of groceries right now, and it's a hard thing to navigate for many families. And so we developed Flash Food to help families access food at a discount, and that is food that may be nearing its best by date, but still perfectly good to eat. So we work with grocery stores to sell that food at a discount. People can buy it through our app and go to the store to pick it up.
Okay, so how does that work then if I wanted to do that today, download the app and then walk into the grocery store?
Yeah, so you can go to the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and look up Flash Food. Download the app. It's free to download, and you can browse the stores around you. We have a few stores in the Charlotte area, but we're actively looking to add new ones as well. But you can see what stores are near you, see what they have available, and purchase the goods that they have listed, whether it be fresh produce, meat, or just general grocery items, typically discounted at about 50%. Once you make that purchase, you have to go into the store to pick up the items yourself.
That sounds like a really good deal. And why are savings up to 50%?
It varies by grocer, but we generally find that that's a price point that is fair to both sides. It's a good price for the grocer to move items that may not be selling at full retail price, and a good deal for consumers to access food at a discount. So it's a nice win-win for both sides.
All right, so we're talking summer barbecues, not only for the weekend, but throughout the season. A lot of fresh produce, a lot of grilling meats. Are these types of some of the types of foods then that can be found on this app?
Yeah, a lot of our grocers, most of our grocers will list fresh food like produce in our produce boxes. So that can be a $5 box of mixed loose produce, or just meat items discounted typically around 50%. And so it's a great way to access that fresh food at a discount, because those are often items that a grocer may have in surplus or may have nearing expiration that they can put on our app to make available.
How can shoppers be ensured that the quality and freshness is good enough?
Yeah, so grocers are still paying attention to the quality of the food, and they want to make sure the food is fresh and safe to eat. And so they'll do their own due diligence on checking the quality of food, just like they would for a full price retail experience. And if anyone's dissatisfied with that quality, they can request a refund through the app. So it's a pretty seamless process, but we find the vast majority of our purchases, the customers are quite happy with the products they're getting.
Well, chances are, while you're driving around Charlotte, you've seen the name Sharon. It is a notable name across town, but a lot of people have no idea why the word Sharon turns up so much.
And so many street signs. One story that's been around for years is that Sharon was supposedly Queen Charlotte's sister, but as WCNC Charlotte's Larry Sprinkle explains, the truth is that the name actually came from a local church on Sharon Road.
Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful city, a beautiful skyline, home of some major banks and obviously home of some major sports teams. And also we're known for our traffic, but there's something else we're known for. If you've driven in South Charlotte, you've seen the name Sharon. The answer lies in history, not mystery. It all starts with Sharon Presbyterian Church, established in 1831.
At that time, Mecklenburg County was totally rural, other than the city, small town of Charlotte. There was no Huntersville, there was no Matthews, no Pineville. And at that time, really the only landmarks were churches. So the road that led here to Sharon Church became Sharon Road, just like the road to Providence Presbyterian Church is Providence Road, and the road to Sardis Church is Sardis Road.
If Sharon is in the name, Susan Gillis knows all about it. She's the church historian at Sardis Presbyterian.
After World War II, when suburbs started coming to South Charlotte, Sharon Road got larger and offshoots of it and neighborhoods, and everybody put the name Sharon in it.
They're everywhere. Sharon Road, Sharon Lane, Sharon Avenue, Sharon Hills Road, Sharon Lakes Road, Sharon Brook Drive. Let me share this. Sharon Presbyterian on Sharon Road leads to Amity Presbyterian Church on Sharon Amity. So the next time you're trying to navigate through all that Charlotte traffic and see a sign with Sharon in the name, it all goes back thousands of years to an area in Israel known as the Plain of Sharon. With all the Sharon roads and Sharon lanes, I forgot to mention all the businesses and the neighborhoods, and yes, even the schools with that Sharon name. On Sharon Road, I'm Larry Sprinkle, WCNC Charlotte.
Thanks for sharing. By the way, the last count, there were 24 streets and roads with the name Sharon attached to it.
Wow. Only 24.
That's a lot. It's a lot. I tell you, for newcomers, the city doesn't always make sense when it comes to the streets. I mean, between the Sharons and between like the streets changing names halfway through, like Runnymede does with Woodlawn, and then you've got the corner of Queens and Providence and Providence.
Oh yeah,
story of my life right now.
I know, sure.
Go through a traffic light and wait. You're in a different road.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, and as I've been trying to teach Majestic some of the ways of traffic, I feel like I'm not making any sense, but I'm just talking about the way Charlotte behaves.
The
way it is.
You're telling me that this, Majestic, that's how it works. Okay.
Yeah, and there's multiple numbers for certain rows, but we're getting too deep. Now let's go right to the tropics. Now I know that everyone cares about your 4th of July forecast. I'll let you know today is great, tomorrow is great, Sunday's a big question mark. And it's really interesting watching this system really thrive. We have prime water temperatures, and we're waiting for the newest update to come through. It's going to be closer to about the 8 o'clock hour here. Let me do one more check to see if anything new's come in. The one thing we've kind of shrunk things. Hey, we do have a new update actually. So let's. I'm going to update this live time. So you're actually going to see a smaller circle here, and I know that this is a little shoddy, but this is a stream here. It's now a 60% chance for development over the next 2 days, so that's going to match it. I can't change the color for you right now. So now a 60% chance over the next 2 days, and a 60% chance, of course, over the next 2 to 7 days. And you can also see that the circle has gotten a little bit smaller compared to what we once had. So it's primarily going to be in the South Carolina shoreline that's going to be most impacted by this system. So officially, the 8 o'clock update shows that this system will continue to push its way off towards north. We can also see some new of those spaghetti plots as well. I think it's really going to be late on Saturday that we're going to have a chance that the center of circulation is going to pass in between Savannah and Charleston. But the deal with this is the heaviest rain is well on the eastern side of it, same with the stronger winds. This is not a big system. Even if it gets upgraded to a tropical depression and or a subtropical storm, Chantel, it's really just going to be some rain, a lot of clouds. Really, I think the biggest issue is the rip current danger. So likely a lot of red flags are going to be waving along the beach. And sadly, not a great beach day for those going to the South Carolina shoreline. So what weakens a tropical cyclone? It's going to be wind shear, land, and dry air. For one, you're going to have that landfall within 36 hours. So even if this does form in the next 24, it's going to last less than 24 hours as the last couple of storms did. Water temperatures are prime. Anytime you're at 80 plus, that's favorable for development. We're actually around 82 to 85, right in the spot that's at right now. So likely this is probably going to be the most rapid that it's going to tighten up over the course of its lifetime. But one of the biggest factors that'll weaken a storm is wind shear, and look what it's driving right into. See that area of red? That's an unfavorable environment. So I don't think it's really going to be a pretty storm, even if it does get the center of circulation. All it needs to do is really have a closed low, and it also needs to have winds up to 40 miles per hour. Technically it's 39, but whenever we display it, it will read 40. And then once it makes landfall, then we're just dealing with some rain inland. Also, it's going to have a bunch of fronts attached, so there's a good chance that this could be just a plain old low, but 60 is likely. So I would really watch out for the next couple of, or next day or so, that this could be named Chantal. But being honest with you, that's just a name. You're gonna have the same impacts. Gusty winds about 30 to 50 miles per hour right along the shoreline, dangerous rip currents, and of course, some of the rain. And that is going to affect our forecast. So let's get to that. For our futurecast, I really don't have much going on until you get to your Sunday, so let's rewind here. Here's 8 p.m. on Saturday. Before then, I think you will see signs of rain really from Rockingham to Lancaster, anywhere between about 3 to 7 o'clock on Saturday. After that, overnight, clouds will increase heading into your Sunday morning. You're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly southeast of Charlotte, right around sunrise. This becomes a little bit more widespread heading through the morning. Then west of I-70 has their turn really late morning heading into the early afternoon. afternoon. A few thunderstorms also possibly scattered throughout the day. And then I think the system unravels, moves its way to the northeast, and you should actually see some sunshine by the end of the day. This doesn't really have the makings of a big time flooding event. It's really unravels pretty quickly, so I wouldn't really call this a huge deal. Still, anytime you are dealing with a tropical depression or a tropical storm, it's bigger than just a typical low, but just letting you know that things are actually in our favor for preventing this to be really a serious storm. 92 degrees for tomorrow and then 87 on Sunday. The cloud cover one is going to strip away our 90-degree streak. However, I have been fooled before, because if the system decides to clear out earlier, likely will rapidly intensify to 90 degrees before you know it. But then temperatures for sure back into the 90s, the mid 90s on Monday and Tuesday. Better chance for rain the middle of next week with highs closer to 90 or where we should be this time of year. Let's head over to Majestic on a very quiet morning.
Exactly. It is a peaceful, quiet morning for anyone who has to be out on those roads. You don't have any problems. It is absolutely gorgeous. Lots of sunshine. Really not very congested whatsoever. Here's I-77, York County. Area roadways are dry. The sun is shining. And again, not seeing any backups like we typically would for this time of the day. You can see my maps here. We have all green no matter where you're watching from, whether that's Rock Hill or Hickory. If you're going to be traveling along I-40, conditions seem to be fine. If you're heading up to Morganton today, good morning to anyone watching there. Maybe Lake James can be a good place to spend your 4th of July. As we take it on home, though, from Charlotte up towards Huntersville, we are all in the green along I-77. Lake Norman, of course, going to be a very popular place here out towards Mooresville, Cornelius. No slowdowns, no accidents, so hopefully we can keep it that way. In the uptown area, we're looking at all green right now. I'll keep a close eye on the maps for you, but as of now, it looks great. Lisa.
Majestic, thanks so much. Well, it wouldn't be the 4th of July without fireworks, and traditionally one of the nation's biggest events is the Macy's Fireworks show in New York City.
That's right. You can see it tonight on WCNC Charlotte starting at 8 p.m. Mark Barger has a preview.
Tonight will mark the 49th edition of the Macy's Fireworks Spectacular.
But each and every year, innovation is key for us, and we continue to try to make the show bigger and better and more fantastic for our audience.
This fireworks test last month in the Mojave Desert, just part of a year's preparation for tonight.
Shopping around the world for fireworks. We've got some really cool stuff this year that has never been seen in New York before. This year also adding the Brooklyn Bridge.
Roughly 30,000 fireworks shells will launch from the iconic bridge. And earlier this week, crews were busy preparing the additional 50,000 shells that will fire from 4 barges along the East River.
Some aerial shells will actually have 8 different effects, lasting 8 to 12 seconds, rather than just your usual few seconds for a typical firework.
Oscar winner Ariana DeBose will host tonight's broadcast, which will feature performances from Lenny Kravitz, the Jonas Brothers, Ava Max, Keke Palmer, and country stars Eric Church and Trisha Yearwood.
Well, the 4th of July is always a party, right? And so you're going to have a great crowd. So I think that's the thing I look the most forward to.
Yearwood's also releasing her new album, The Mirror, later this month, and she has special childhood memories of the nation's bicentennial 4th of July in 1976.
They had a reception at the bank where my dad worked, and my sister and I remember us dressed in red, white, and blue and being in the lobby serving punch and cheese straws to everybody that came in.
But Yearwood sticks to singing tonight as pyrotechnics fill the air.
Take a 25-minute break from all the noise and enjoy some art in the sky and some spectacle. So that's been our motivation since day one.
An enduring effort to celebrate the nation's independence. Mark Barger, NBC News.
7:55 now. We are going to take a quick break, but make sure you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We're going to have another check on weather and traffic, and we'll be back with more of the day's top headlines on this Independence Day right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everybody. Let's start here in the mountains. 76 degrees for you around Bannerell. Good morning to you, Boone. 81 degrees is your 4th of July high. And the mountain forecast to the foothills, we're warming up to about 90 degrees across Lenoir, Caldwell County. Here in Catawba County, 90 in Hickory, 91 for you in Maiden, and sliding down towards the south, range of 92 to 94 across the greater Charlotte area. Some even challenging 95. Hello, Chesterfield. Your 4th of July weekend, though, it's another great day tomorrow. Just a slight down step to the lower 90s, but then Sunday, standing out from the rest. Sunday is the only day that you have a chance for rain over the next 3, and that also could lead to some thunderstorms as well. So check it out for your Saturday. Quick pulse of rain possible down towards the southeast, and then you have on and off rain that's going to be circulating through the area, mainly in the morning heading into the afternoon, and by late day we should see a little bit of sunshine. 70 forecast shows that usual summertime pattern returning. Let's head over to Majestic for a quiet morning.
Good morning. It is gorgeous outside. A whole lot of sunshine. If you do have someplace to be this morning, area roadways look fantastic. I haven't seen hardly any accidents. It's been quiet all morning long. Maybe you're traveling along I-40 this morning out towards Hickory or Morganton. Take it easy. We have all green currently. If you're heading out to the Lake Norman, I-77 looks fantastic. Much of the same along Independence and I-77 from South Carolina.
Happy Independence Day. You're streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. A live look at Uptown from our view cam on this Independence Day. You can see the sun is shining. A lot of you are going to be grilling or cooking out today. Let's go to check out that holiday forecast with meteorologist Chris Mulcahy.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. Here's what's going on. First off, I just want to let you know for our average storm dates, because our big focal point of our forecast is going to be this potential. So June 20th is usually where we have our first named storm. Number 3 usually doesn't come until August 3rd. Well, there's a chance that we could be calling July 4th to 5th our storm number 3. So that would be well ahead of schedule. So our extended forecast shows that one day stands out from all the rest. And the reason why we're seeing this is because the increase of cloud cover. So that's going to be the big deal, the big shift that we see for the long term and the long range forecast. And as for today, a whole lot of nothing. So you just have to know today, tomorrow, you're good to go. No real issues across the board. 78 degrees around Charlotte, 77 Monroe is the current starting point, 72 for you in Salisbury and Hickory, but likely that's going to be upgraded here in the next couple of minutes to join us in the mid 70s. Cookout forecast for the 4th of July. Nothing to worry about. I strongly dislike the usual 4th of July forecast. And I'm saying, hey, it's going to be a hot and humid day, but watch those grills. Storms could pop up at any moment. No, my friends. I am not saying that. Instead, I'm just calling it hot dogs and a less humid 4th of July. That's a big player here. And the main reason why we're so dry, we've got a big old high pressure system that is sinking over us. And that's associated with sinking air. So that suppresses any rising moisture, aka storm development. Still toasty, but we're not complaining. Toasted buns, toasted dogs. Enjoy yourself. You're at a cookout, or maybe you're smoking them meats, having a barbecue. You're also dealing with a delightful forecast for the mountains. Mid to the upper 70s to around 80 degrees, closer to 90 for you in the foothills, 91 for you in Morganton and Burke County. A lot of 92s and 94s popping up from Lincoln, Gaston, Mecklenburg, Cabarrus County, Rowan County, and Salisbury as well. And then sliding down towards the south, we're seeing a mix of more of those mid 90s. So in general, I think 91 to 94 for most of us, with a few exceptions either side of that range. Today is also day number 16 of hitting 90 degrees plus. It's been quite the run. My oh my has it been, and this is actually the longest streak we've had since 2022. So it's been 3 years since we had this many 90s in a row. It's also the first time in a while that we've had back-to-back years hitting 100 degrees. Hopefully we're done with that, but we know how that goes. Our weekend forecast separated between 92 to 87, and this is the big shift in the forecast. We started noticing it over the last couple of days. Yesterday, for sure, we're like, ooh, okay, not looking to be a great day. I still think there's a little bit of hope. Oftentimes with these type of systems, they tend to unravel themselves because this doesn't have a lot of steam in general. For one, we're actually seeing the width of this cloud deck really rapidly expand. This isn't going to be a big time storm where all of a sudden it rapidly intensifies into a hurricane. No. We're just seeing if it even is going to have the right components to even become subtropical storm Chantal. But still, it's going to be more of an impact than your typical low pressure system, and that's mainly along the shoreline. So say if you're packing up or getting ready to go to a South Carolina beach, it's not going to be a great beach weekend. There might be some hope on the backside on Sunday, but still a lot of cloud cover pretty much taking up most of the Carolinas. Because look at the size of this thing already. It's the size of South Carolina. So once it does move inland, pretty much most of the Carolinas is going to be dealing with those cloud impacts. That's why we're going to be so cloudy on your Sunday. And as for the investigation, we're not really seeing a clear, surefire path. I do believe in these models a little bit more. Ignore the letters. That's complicated. But it really shows that by late day tomorrow, I think mainly during the evening, we can start to see the center of circulation start to make landfall. At the latest, it'll be is overnight Saturday. And then it eventually works its way up into our area on Sunday. And at that point, it's losing a lot of steam, but it's bringing a lot of moisture. So that's going to lead to some pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And since it's a low, it's lifting that up. So that's why we have a better chance. I would say that I think the Sunday morning time frame is going to be the wettest. So let's go through the hour-by-hour forecast. Seeing some on and off clouds through the overnight tonight. Saturday overall, I think it's going to be mostly sunny to a partly cloudy one. By the end of the day, I think you're seeing a lot more of those upper-level clouds, those streaky clouds up above. And down to the southeast, we're even seeing some rain for you. So if you have any outdoor plans, do it before 2 o'clock, Rockingham, and Wadesboro, because a quick little passing shower is possible. I think that's the northern tier of this maybe named system. As we mentioned, it's either going to be a tropical depression or a subtropical storm Chantal. Right now, all the makings of that. And then those clouds really arrive overnight heading into your Sunday. Sunday morning, check this out. We're looking at widespread rain, especially between about 7 to 10 o'clock. It first starts east of I-77 to the southeast, will work its way to the west, but notice how we lose a lot of the rain into the afternoon. You'll still have pieces of thunderstorms, some locally heavier downpours, but then the clouds even start to break by the end of the day, and then that rain shifts through Greensboro up into Virginia, and then we say goodbye to either this low pressure system or the name Chantal. And if it does become Chantal, I think it will be that name for less than a day, and it might be in our area as the remnants of Chantal. So we shall see what the National Hurricane Center does. That's the case and scenario, though. But here's the great news. We're dry today and tomorrow for Charlotte. Scattered rain arrives on Sunday, as I just showed you, with isolated rain chances after that, and then rain is certainly likely Wednesday and Thursday. Now let's move on to traffic on your 4th of July. And Majestic, you've been saying it's almost like a ghost town out there.
It really is. I mean, it is so quiet outside. Hopefully, many many of you are just taking it easy this morning. Maybe you're getting ready to fire up the barbecue. You're going to have people over today, or you're getting ready to head out to the lake. Whatever it is, I mean, we're talking about nice conditions outside, lots of sunshine. Area roadways are very dry, and thankfully, I have only had to report on one accident this morning since 5 o'clock this morning. You can see a big picture perspective of those roads. Lots of green. Maybe you're traveling today. You're heading up towards Hickory or Statesville. You're taking I-77 to I-40. Things look fantastic. It should be actually a pretty nice day to take a road trip. It's going to be beautiful. If you're heading up towards Lake Norman, or if you're watching from Lake Norman, good morning to you. What a gorgeous start to your 4th of July morning from Cornelius out towards Huntersville. If you're going to be traveling towards the uptown area, it is surely quiet. Much of the same along Independence and I-77 if you're coming in from Fort Mill. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here shortly, but Ben, right now things look great.
We like to hear it. All right, Majestic, thanks. Well, no matter what you're doing, whether you're spending the day at the pool, at the lake, or at the grill, folks across the country are going to spend their day outdoors for the 4th of July.
And at night, you can expect the sky to be lit up with those fireworks. But before you grab a lighter, WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live this morning with some reminders to keep us all safe. And there are laws about fireworks depending on where you live.
That is absolutely correct, Lisa. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ben. And a good Friday morning. Happy Independence Day, folks out there watching us on the Plus. So happy to have you join us. I'm going to step out of the way. This parking lot was empty just a short while ago. We did see a couple people who had already been camping out for a few hours before Area 51 fireworks right here off of Carowinds Boulevard opened up. But right before they opened up, the last 30 minutes or so, there was a long line outside of folks who were lining up to grab those last-minute fireworks, because right here in South Carolina, you're fine with your fireworks. Now in North Carolina, we can tell you that if you're planning to see those big fireworks, as we take a look at a video of uptown, you see those big fireworks. We can't get that, and even in North Carolina, you don't have the right to do a lot of fireworks that, like, let's say, explode up in the air, either launched in the air or explode up into the air. You know, you can do just little fireworks and things of that nature. Now that's why a lot of folks come down here to grab fireworks. It's important to know that, of course, you don't have that right legally to explode fireworks up in North Carolina, but down here in South Carolina, it's totally legal. You can get every type of firework there is, bottle rockets, all those different types of things. But the most important thing, whenever you use fireworks, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, safety, safety, safety for you as well as the young ones. Take a listen to this.
You can take a regular red Solo cup, punch a small hole in it, insert your sparkler, and hold it about an inch away, and then suddenly you don't have to worry about any sparks or heat getting to you, so some of the young children feel more protected and safe. Never light anything holding it in your hand, but we recommend setting bricks on each side so you don't have a possibility of any tip over. Same way with a Roman candle. Once you're done, and don't put these in your hand, you can set them in your tube and always launch your Roman candle or any bottle rockets from your tube.
Those are some good recommendations and good safety tips, because that's very important as you enjoy your 4th of July. And if you need more information, we have all of that on our website, in the mobile app as well. So you just have to go there and we'll have all the safety tips and things like that you need to know for this 4th of July weekend. Enjoy your fireworks, enjoy this Independence Day. Some of us are dressed for Independence Day, others aren't. We'll leave it at that. Guys,
yeah,
we'll send it back to you.
I think it's interesting. Sometimes folks often wonder if Lisa and I coordinate our colors. What they don't know is that you and Chris Mulcahy actually coordinate. You're wearing the same blazer today.
All the time.
Who knew?
They left you out.
And down to our shoes.
Even
down to our shoes, even our shoes.
Wow.
Hey, dude.
Okay.
Hey, dude.
Man.
There you go.
He'll get that. Chris has that.
And that is why you watch WCNC Plus.
Gotta be comfortable.
4th. All right, Richard, thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Approaching 8/11 right now. For those looking for maybe, say, another option for fireworks this weekend, listen up. WCNC did some research for you, found out some good alternatives to keep in mind: glow sticks, bubbles. You can even grab glow-in-the-dark bubbles and confetti cannons. Instead of the fireworks, you can check out different lights displays, drone shows if you can find one, or maybe try a new tradition and do an outdoor movie with the family if the fireworks aren't too loud. And if the fireworks didn't keep you overnight, keep you up overnight, your pets probably did. Animal experts say fireworks can be a triggering effect for pets, causing them to get anxious. Melissa Nicely from the city's animal shelter joined us on WCNC Plus. She emphasized the importance on having a plan in place for your pet.
Or if you're having a party at your house, I always tell everyone my favorite place to recommend people to put their cat or their dog if they're very anxious is your walk-in closet, especially in your bedroom, because it's muffled with all of the clothes that you have in there.
Yeah.
And so it makes a perfect spot to put their bed, maybe put something soothing like their blankets and that sort of thing, maybe even put a radio in there.
All right, 8:12 now. This is a live look at Washington, D.C. You see the White House there. President Trump is expected to sign his sweeping domestic policy bill into law. Now, it was a tight vote as the GOP leaders worked behind the scenes to get enough members on board to get that bill to the president's desk.
Now, it keeps tax cuts in place and increases spending for the military and border security. NBC's Ryan Nobles has more on the reaction and what it means for you.
A major victory for the Donald Trump agenda.
The motion is adopted.
The House passing his multi-trillion-dollar sprawling spending bill designed to fund a wide range of campaign promises, including extending tax cuts passed in his first administration, new military spending, and money to fund a mass deportation plan, paying for it in part with steep cuts to food aid benefits, clean energy funding, and Medicaid. President Trump celebrating the win before flying to a victory rally in Iowa.
This is a great bill. This is going to be a great bill for the country.
The bill passed largely on party lines, with only 2 Republicans voting against it. One of those, Pennsylvania Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, who dodged NBC News' questions.
Why did you vote no?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Why did you vote no?
House conservatives balked at the changes made in the Senate, holding back their votes for hours, before they finally relented without a single thing in the bill changing. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
You think they caved?
No, I don't think they caved. Look, I think every member made a thoughtful and informed decision.
President Trump working the phones until the early morning hours. The holdouts say they got what they wanted.
Are you concerned that in the future, though, people won't believe that you guys are going to be a no on big issues like this?
No, I think they know we better be ready they better be ready to deal.
Democrats did everything they could to delay final passage. Their leader, Hakeem Jeffries, setting a record by holding the floor for more than 8 hours, attacking the bill's overhaul of social safety net programs like Medicaid and SNAP, which could lead to millions of Americans losing access to coverage.
We were a hell no last week, a hell no this week, a hell no yesterday, a hell no today.
But Republicans argue Medicaid is in need of reform, and the bill is filled with the president's priorities, like eliminating taxes on tips and overtime. Republicans taking a victory lap following the vote. All smiles as one of the signature songs from the Trump campaign rallies played in the room.
Ryan Nobles with that report. It is time now for us to connect the dots. That's when we make the news make sense. Whether you're grilling out or hanging by the pool today, your celebration is almost 250 years in the making.
It's important to remember that today's holiday happened thanks to the bravery of our founding fathers. Let's connect the dots. When the Revolutionary War broke out, most colonists were on the side of Britain, but eventually the tides turned, and the Founding Fathers opted for a formal Declaration of Independence. The 4th of July was almost the 2nd of July. The actual vote was on July 2nd, but they didn't adopt the official declaration until 2 days later. Drinking and fireworks have been a staple of the holiday ever since. Even during the war, George Washington would double his men's rations of rum on the 4th to celebrate. As for fireworks, ships used to fire cannons to celebrate. But since most homes don't have cannons readily available, most people now use fireworks instead. And that's connecting the dots.
And now we have hot dog eating contests. Obviously, that's what happens.
Of course.
Speaking of eating, on this 4th of July, all the North Carolina natives will tell you this. Grilling and barbecue are not the same. We have a lot of well-intentioned newcomers, and you're going to get this wrong. Grilling, high heat, quick cooking, think like a gas grill that you have on your back patio for burgers, dogs, steaks. Barbecue, that's something entirely different. Low and slow, smoky and sacred. And by the way, slathering barbecue sauce on grilled meat does not count as barbecue.
That is definitely not barbecuing.
So this weekend, impress your neighbors. You might be the new person on the block, but you can call it a cookout, and they'll be like, oh, wow.
I'll have to try out that one with my neighbors.
Yeah.
But not a barbecue.
But you have a smoker.
Yeah. So I'm actually barbecuing.
So you actually might barbecue.
You are.
Yes.
We don't have a smoker, so like we.
What about if you're just smoking a hamburger on that, but it's relatively fast, like because you don't need to smoke a hamburger for hours?
You can.
We're getting technical, but I mean,
I appreciate it.
I do, but that's not really like barbecue. That's.
I would still say that's a barbecuing method.
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's not grilling.
I'm gonna go cook some food outside.
Okay.
How about that?
Cookout.
Yeah.
Cookout's usually safer. That's right.
Yeah, no, I think that's a barbecue style cookout. I think when you do that. I think it's kind of the middle of the Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I have done the slow method on the cool side for burgers where it takes a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, absorbs the smoky flavor. But you gotta have the patience for it, which I do not. That's why we're just throwing it on the hot side.
He's like
and the cool
cranking
side
up the heat, the flame's getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, no, cranking up the heat, just charcoal.
Oh, okay.
Oh, now.
You didn't even tell us that part.
That makes the difference. That charcoal,
Yeah.
you can taste it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, and a variety of different wood chips. Oh, I can't wait.
Can you tell we're kind of hungry over here?
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm salivating, so if I have to swallow a couple of times, I apologize. Let's do it now. All right, let's get right to it. Our grilling forecast, what do you know? We're not barbecuing. We're just having a cookout here. That's why it says cookout forecast. Yeah, I've been educated. 88 degrees right around noon, the lower 90s from 3 to 6. However, I think it's really between 4 and 5 that we could spike up to about 94. We did it yesterday. It's actually less humid than yesterday, and that'll be the continual trend heading into tomorrow as well. And eventually, our spatulas are going to turn red. So a green spatula means fired up. Yellow means caution. Order delivery Sunday. There is going to be a few dry spots, but you're looking at on and off rain throughout the morning heading into the afternoon. Things get better by the late day, and it's also going to be cooler because of that. Also, over the next couple of days, we got a BTPI. That is a Ben approved pool day. So the Ben Thompson Pool Index gives you a big check mark for today and tomorrow.
We need like a splash sound effect to go along.
A splash sound effect?
At first I thought air horn, but no, we need like a splash.
Okay, Cody, our director, are you listening to this? Because Cody's my sound guy. Yeah, no, we don't have it.
That's right.
Okay,
Right.
we don't have it right
Later.
now, but Ben, I promise you by next week, a splash is coming our way for the next time we're talking about the BTPI. Excellent suggestion. We're all about sound effects here for my forecast. And by Sunday, notice Sunday is not on here because it does not meet the threshold because it is cloudy. It is overcast, and then we also have a chance for rain. Those are the exact opposite of things that you want for a pool day. Our tropical development is because of that reduction in our outdoor activity plans. And it's because of this widespread system that eventually is going to work its way into South Carolina. That'll work its way into North Carolina thereafter for your Sunday, and then that's why we're calling for a pretty good shot at this. So our tropical wave Invest 92L is continuing to churn its way off towards the north. The next update for exact wind speeds will actually be at 11 o'clock. They have updated the general track and the spot that shows a 60% chance for development over the next 2 days, but we will see a change in the wind speeds coming up here in the next 2.5 hours. So that's something to keep an eye on because we need to get to 40 miles per hour here on this chart in order to try to get a little bit closer to tropical storm strength. But I think you could have a subtropical depression a little bit later on today, potentially working its way over to tropical storm strength. And check it out. We're also looking at some increased wave heights as this draws a little bit closer. So waves right along the shoreline as early as 8 a.m. tomorrow, getting up to about 5 feet for Charleston. That could also lead to some minor flooding. It floods in a moderate rain shower around Charleston, some areas. Myrtle Beach also dealing with a big uptick, waves at 5 to 10 feet by your Saturday afternoon. So likely we're going to have a lot of beach flags waving in the air. I think up to a red flag is likely, so use extreme caution. And then usually when you have a big tropical storm or hurricane, you're going to have a double red flag. Might not be the case in scenario for a lot of those, but also yellow flag means high surf and rip current. So either a red or a yellow flag likely will be waving at the beach if that's where you're going. So at the top of the next half hour, we'll talk a little bit more about the impacts. We'll go through the future cast, exact time, and how much rain we could see by the end of the weekend. But just enjoy today, the 4th and the 5th, looking A-OK, actually amazing. Let's head over to traffic with Majestic on this 4th of July.
All right, good morning, everyone. If you're just waking up and joining us on this beautiful Friday morning, gotta let you know those roadways are looking really nice if you have someplace to be. I'm not seeing anything majorly concerning outside right now. You can see this is actually I-85. Cars are moving nice and smoothly. Again, haven't had any problems, significant problems this morning. This is I-77 coming in from York County. Grab those sunglasses, start hydrating with lots of water today, especially if you're going to be spending time outside. You're going to need to do that sooner rather than later. Our live traffic maps mainly all in the green, no matter really where you're traveling, whether that's Rock Hill or you're heading up towards Lake Norman. Maybe you're going to head out to Lake James and Morganton. We have all green from Hickory out towards Statesville, even as we bring it back to Huntersville and right in the uptown area. I've been watching this all morning long, and it's been a very quiet morning for everyone, but if things change, I'll be sure to let you know. Lisa.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. 8:22 now, and right now, big events are planned nationwide for the 4th.
New York and New Jersey will be celebrating with the Sail Forth 250, the largest maritime gathering in modern time. Gus Rosendale has the details.
This is NBC Sunday Night News, July 4th. As many as 5 million people were on the banks of the Hudson River in New York for the parade of ships.
NBC brought home history in 1976 for the nation's bicentennial, and we're getting ready to do it again.
Lifting her lamp, the Statue of Liberty welcomed them all.
An unprecedented naval procession, and never surpassed until now.
Gave proof through the night.
At the Intrepid Museum, details just unfurled for Sail Forth 250, the largest international maritime gathering in modern times.
The Navy is just super proud to be able to contribute to the nation's 250th birthday here in New York City.
The event, featuring more than 30 tall ships and 30 modern-day vessels from 30-plus nations around the world, will take place from July 3rd to July 8th, 2026 in the Port of New York and New Jersey to celebrate America's 250th birthday.
All of these civilians coming in, touring all of these amazing vessels, meeting all these amazing people. I'm just extremely honored to be in this generation of people who get to experience it.
The big celebration also means changes to 2 other big events. Fleet Week activities that normally happen during Memorial Day will move to the days around July 4th next year. Same thing, too, for the annual Memorial Day Air Show out at Jones Beach. NBC Universal Local is the media partner for Sail Forth 250. NBC and Telemundo-owned stations will present coverage across TV, streaming, and digital platforms nationwide.
We're really excited with the 250th anniversary of the country, and with NBC Universal Local, we have stations in Philadelphia and Boston and DC and New York, where the celebration is just going to be huge.
The Coast Guard Cutter Eagle, 265 feet tall.
I remember seeing the Coast Guard Cutter Eagle in 1976, and I was 7 years old. So this is like a full circle for me to see this happen next year.
As the country and the world heads to the harbor to say, Happy Birthday, America.
Gus Rosendale reporting for us right there. Live pictures right now over uptown on this Independence Day. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hopefully you're going to have a great day today, or maybe it's already great. 78 degrees right around Charlotte, 77 right around Lancaster and Monroe, and then 79 for you over in Chirac. And our cookout forecast, well, we are trending up, the upper 80s heading into the afternoon, lower to the mid 90s across the afternoon, and you will have a nice mix of cloud and sunshine at times, but all in all, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Less humid than the last few days as well. Our backyard grill cast, great today, great tomorrow, not so great on Sunday. The reason why, we're adding clouds and rain to the equation, especially through the morning. This rain will start to break up, on and off thunderstorms possible into the afternoon, and eventually we'll see that sunshine try to come back out to end the day heading into the evening, but definitely not the most picturesque day. Once that system clears, we are anticipating a back to summer as usual trend, lower to the mid 90s with storm chances each and every day. Majestic.
All right, happy 4th of July, everyone. It is an absolutely gorgeous Friday morning. I'm talking about blue skies. You can see it here on I-85 at Statesville Ave, and it has been incredibly quiet on our area roadway. So if you have some place to be, according to AAA, the best time to travel is right now up until noon, and then the worst times will be between noon and 7 p.m. Take it easy out there today. We do have all green right now, no matter where you're traveling. Maybe your travels this morning will take you up towards I-40, out towards Morganton, Hickory, even back towards Statesville. I'm not seeing any problems there. Maybe you're heading to Lake Norman. Great idea. I-77 looks fine right now.
Happy 4th, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. This morning, we're following a growing trend of homelessness for students here in Charlotte. Right now, the number of identified unhoused students has jumped by nearly 1,000 over the last 2 years.
That's according to data from a homeless assessment. WCNC Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard shares how one nonprofit is seeking solutions ahead of the next school year.
Well, Freedom Fighting Missionaries is hoping to raise $1 million ahead of the next school year, all in efforts of housing 50 families, which includes 150 CMS school students. Tucked behind school walls lies a quiet struggle. Children, along with their families, searching for a place to call home.
Keep in mind, these are primarily working families.
Kenny Robinson, the founder of Freedom Fighting Missionaries, has been working for years to tackle the issue. Now he's working with different landlords and property owners to find solutions.
Our goal is to assist 50 families, which are an average of 150 children. We'll be focusing on McKinney-Vento homeless children who have a parent or caregiver who's barrier to safe, affordable housing is due to a previous background.
Robinson says parents and caregivers with a criminal background are some of the most vulnerable when it comes to housing. That's why they're working ahead of the next school year to help families find permanent placement.
That is to provide rental subsidies for up to 2 years for the families to help them get in a position to become self-sufficient and be able to sustain on their own. We have a plan and we have a goal, and now we just need the funding to make it all work.
The plan comes with $1 million price tag, a heavy lift for a nonprofit, but one, Robinson says, is a small price to pay to break generational cycles. He says sometimes to help a child, you have to help their parents first.
No fault of the children of what the parents are going through, what their past may be. But these are children who are in CMS schools and have expectations of being able to perform at the rate of a student who's not homeless.
Now, Robinson says the program just doesn't include housing. It also includes other barriers that intersect, like financial assistance as well as food assistance. If you'd like to contribute to the cause, log onto our website. That's WCNC.com. Reporting for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Tradisha Woodard.
Controversy continues in Gastonia over how the city is taking care of its unhoused neighbors during what's been dangerous heat for the last few weeks. City leaders held an emergency meeting yesterday addressing the city's outdoor cooling station.
You have people that spent money. I just left the Salvation Army building, and we had Help Carolina with a van packing up all of their stuff that they donated because of what?
Concerns arose over the setup earlier this week, so leaders announced they would move the station indoors to the former Salvation Army building. The mayor, Richard Frank, says they need to find a permanent solution.
I'll put everybody on this council on notice, because the one thing is everybody that sits on this dais was elected by the citizens of Gastonia, and we will not fail them again.
He says he's going to call a daily meeting until they find answers for the people who need help.
Well, taking a live look now from Myrtle Beach. Isn't that gorgeous? Calm, relaxing. Looks like a great day on tap there. Well, Chris has a check on the holiday forecast for us here in the Charlotte area.
And just letting you know, Myrtle Beach will not look like that later on Saturday because that tropical system will be upon us. It'll be at least cloudy. I think the seas are going to be a lot rougher and choppier. And I was just mentioning about 10 minutes ago, there's a good chance that either a yellow or a red flag is going to be waving in the breeze. And those breezes, by the way, could get up to 30 miles per hour as the system starts to roll on in. Dangerous rip currents also through the weekend. But for us, here around Charlotte, this is how it's looking today and tomorrow. At times you will see more clouds. We're already seeing over here in Anson County. And speaking of Anson County, you're the only ones, along with Richmond and Chesterfield, that I think could see some rain late tomorrow afternoon. But most of us are staying just fine, where it's hot and dry for today and tomorrow. But Sunday, a tropical moisture-driven system will bring some rain and some thunderstorms. And it could even be named Chantal. We'll get to all the above. But first, a beautiful mountain forecast. Great for a hike, great for just being in Avery, Watauga, or Ashe County. 80 degrees in Fleetwood, 80 for you in Jefferson and West Jefferson. 90 around Lenore, Hickory, you're in 90 as well. And then sliding down to the greater Charlotte area, 92 to 94, very similar to yesterday's highs across the map, as high as 95 over in Chesterfield County. So welcome to your 4th of July. Doesn't get much better than this, but we continue our streak. Today, officially, will be day number 16. Of 90 plus, the longest 90 degree stretch, or at least consecutive days at 90 plus that we've had in 3 years. And that could come to an end by the end of the weekend, as long as that low pressure system lingers around. But if the sunshine stays for the afternoon, then we will have a shot at 90 degrees yet again to continue that stretch. But our muggy meter, I love where this is going. We're muggy right now, but then boo, down to about that 60 degree point. That's still sticky, but it feels a whole lot better. So it will feel actually less humid for the afternoon. And as a bonus, we'll do that again for tomorrow afternoon as well. This is a good range to be in. It's still humid, but it's not overbearing. Speaking of, that will come back before you know it. Heading into your Sunday, notice the red to the darker maroon. Yep, that's even borderline tropical moisture. That 70 degree point is where you expect to be much of July. So it's back. Our weekend weekend forecast. Saturday for sure is the pick of the weekend. Sunday, 87 degrees, more clouds, and that rain potential. So right here, our tropical development should say 60% over the next 2 days, 60% also over the next 7, because this is happening in the next 2 days, likely making landfall, and we'll have a chance to either become a subtropical depression or a subtropical storm, I think, over the coming days. But if things actually line up, could be just plain old tropical depression or tropical storm. We'll get to the difference here coming up here shortly. And our futurecast showing that everything is clear for today. Heading into tomorrow, we have some clouds to start off the morning, and then check it out. Here comes the cloud cover increasing further off towards the east. I think likely by the end of your Saturday, we're seeing some of those upper level clouds, usually an indication that some sort of system is coming. And the rain, only a narrow band, really from Rockingham through Wadesboro, Lancaster. I will include you into the brief rain chance. Could rain up to an hour, I think, max. And then after that, we're done until your Sunday morning. Sunday morning gets a lot cloudier. You will see some areas of sunshine, but then it will turn overcast for several hours for many of us. And I think the best chance for rain is east of I-77 in general, but east of I-77 in the morning. By the afternoon, notice how this spreads out. It spreads off towards the west. So many times with this system, we're going to say, hey, east of I-77 has most of the rain. No, actually, you can't doubt the northern part of a system like this that oftentimes can turn a lot of heavy rain from Hickory over to Lincolnton and Gastonia. Debbie did the same thing. This is no Debbie. This is much weaker. Don't want to really blur the lines there. And then eventually that rain's going to get out of here. Then it's back to more of an east of I-77 zone heading into the evening. And then poof, it should be gone as we work our way into your Monday morning. And by Monday, we are looking at still an isolated chance. The usual 20 to 30% chance for a pop-up shower or storm is active for your Monday and Tuesday, with highs reaching the mid-90s. And then after that, I think we have more cloud cover, but a much better chance for rain. So Wednesday and Thursday, we got more lift to the atmosphere, so better chance for clusters of showers and thunderstorms. Even watchful eye that since we are going to be so humid that we could have some on and off severe thunderstorms the middle of next week, but we won't get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus in on the good Majestic, a great 4th and 5th of July forecast.
Oh yeah, you did good. I mean, Friday and Saturday, that's a 10 out of 10 forecast, that's for sure. Lots of people want to be spending time outside, and that's the kind of weather we like for a 4th of July weekend. Here we go, I-85 at Statesville Ave. It is beautiful. We have lots of sunshine out there no matter where you're watching from. Grab your sunglasses, start hydrating with that water, especially if you do have those outdoor plans today. Now, if you're thinking, all right, what should I do this morning for your 4th of July morning? Take the kids, head out to Myers Park. Their neighborhood is actually holding a 4th of July parade. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning on Selwyn Ave, but it starts at Queen's University Clock Tower. So they're inviting everyone to get all dressed up in their red, white, and blue. You can be in the parade, or you can just grab a lawn chair and enjoy it from the side. You can see a live look outside. This is coming in from South Carolina, York County. Good morning to you. Not seeing a whole lot of congestion, and really that's been the setup for us basically all morning long. So no complaints here. We do have very nice conditions, and if you are traveling out of town today, according to AAA, now's a good time to be out on those roads. It is quiet. The worst times will be between noon and 7 o'clock tonight. Again, no accidents to report right now, but if things change, I'll be sure to let you know. Lisa.
All right, Majestic, that sounds good. 8:40 now, a heads up today. All CATS buses and light rail will operate on a Saturday schedule. Also, the CATS call center, pass sales and information office in Uptown will be closed. Meanwhile, if you have plans to head to Lake Norman for the holiday, CATS is going to have a shuttle that you can take from Cornelius Park and Ride to Ramsey Creek. That's available throughout the weekend. As families gear up to celebrate the 4th, fireworks stands across the area are packed with shoppers. This year, though, many are feeling the pinch as the prices are noticeably higher. At Red Rocket Fireworks in Fort Mill, Kim Pyle says the customers are searching for the best deals. That's why they work to offer options for every family.
We do everything we can to keep our prices so good that any family can come in and, with our help, put together a good show.
The workers say despite the rising costs, the crowds keep coming in, eager to celebrate safely. If you're going to be lighting fireworks, make sure that you buy fireworks that have passed safety checks, keep some water nearby, and take extra care with children around. Well, the grocery stores are packed this week with people getting ready for a good holiday cookout.
That's right. Now there's a new app that claims it can help you save as much as 50% on groceries. We talked with Tyler Simmons on WCNC Plus about his app called Flash Food Works.
So what are you seeing in terms then of how this is affecting families, especially during holiday seasons this July 4th weekend, these rising costs of food?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's focused on the price of groceries right now, and it's a hard thing to navigate for many families. And so we developed Flash Food to help families access food at a discount. And that is food that may be nearing its best by date, but still perfectly good to eat. So we work with grocery stores to sell that food at a discount. People can buy it through our app and go to the store to pick it up.
Okay, so how does that work then if I wanted to do that today, download the app and then walk into the grocery store?
Yeah, so you can go to the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, and look up Flash Food. Download the app. It's free to download, and you can browse the stores around you. We have a few stores in the Charlotte area, but we're actively looking to add new ones as well. But you can see what stores are near you, see what they have available, and purchase the goods that they have listed, whether it be fresh produce, meat, or just general grocery items, typically discounted at about 50%. Once you make that purchase, you have to go into the store to pick up the items yourself.
That sounds like a really good deal. And why are savings up to 50%?
I mean, it varies by grocer, but we generally find that that's a price point that is fair to both sides. It's a good price for the grocer to move items that may not be selling at full retail price, and a good deal for consumers to access food at a discount. So it's a nice win-win for both sides.
All right, so we're talking summer barbecues, not only for the weekend, but throughout the season. A lot of fresh produce, a lot of grilling meats. Are these types of some of the types of foods then that can be found on this app?
Yeah, a lot of our grocers, most of our grocers will list fresh food like produce in our produce boxes. So that can be a $5 box of mixed loose produce or just meat items discounted typically around 50%. And so it's a great way to access that fresh food at a discount because those are often items that a grocer may have in surplus or may have nearing expiration that they can put on our app to make available.
How can shoppers be ensured that the quality and freshness is good enough?
Yeah, so grocers are still paying attention to the quality of the food, and they want to make sure the food is fresh and safe to eat. And so they'll do their own due diligence on checking the quality of food, just like they would for a full price retail experience. And if anyone's dissatisfied with that quality, they can request a refund through the app. So it's a pretty seamless process, but we find the vast majority of our purchases, the customers are quite happy with the products they're getting.
All right, well, the chances are while you are driving around Charlotte, you've seen the name Sharon. It is a notable name across town, but most people have no idea why Sharon turns up so much.
Yeah, it's on street signs all over town. One story that's been floated around for years is that Sharon was evidently the name of Queen Charlotte's sister. But as WCNC Charlotte's Larry Sprinkle explains, the truth is that the name actually came from a local church on Sharon Road.
Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful city, a beautiful skyline, home of some major banks and obviously home of some major sports teams. And also we're known for our traffic, but there's something else we're known for. If you've driven in South Charlotte, you've seen the name Sharon. The answer lies in history, not mystery. It all starts with Sharon Presbyterian Church, established in 1831.
At that time, Mecklenburg County was totally rural, other than the city, small town of Charlotte. There was no Huntersville, there was no Matthews, no Pineville. And at that time, really the only landmarks were churches. So the road that led here to Sharon Church became Sharon Road, just like the road to Providence Presbyterian Church is Providence Road, and the road to Sardis Church is Sardis Road.
If Sharon is in the name, Susan Gillis knows all about it. She's the church historian at Sardis Presbyterian.
After World War II, when suburbs started coming to South Charlotte, Sharon Road got larger and offshoots of it and neighborhoods, and everybody put the name Sharon in it.
They're everywhere. Sharon Road, Sharon Lane, Sharon Avenue, Sharon Hills Road, Sharon Lakes Road, Sharon Brook Drive. Let me share this. Sharon Presbyterian on Sharon Road leads to Amity Presbyterian Church on Sharon Amity. So the next time you're trying to navigate through all that Charlotte traffic and see a sign with Sharon in the name, it all goes back thousands of years to an area in Israel known as the Plain of Sharon. With all the Sharon Roads and Sharon Lanes, I forgot to mention all the businesses and the neighborhoods, and yes, even the schools with that Sharon name. On Sharon Road, I'm Larry Sprinkle, WCNC Charlotte.
I feel like our city's wonderful founders could have
Yes.
gotten more creative. I'm just saying. By the way, at last count, we did the numbers, and there are 24 streets and roads in Charlotte that have Sharon attached to it.
That's confusing to no one, I'm sure.
Right? Seriously. All right, well, for a lot of people, this is their favorite day in sports, believe it or not.
That's right. The Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest will be held in just a few hours. Last night, the champs showed up for the official weigh-in. The Coney Island contest has been held on Independence Day for more than 50 years. The world record holder, Joey Chestnut, you probably know that name, is competing this year after a one-year ban kept him from the contest last year. Now, the women's competition gets underway in about 2 hours at 10:45 this morning. The men's contest starts at noon.
I love pushing myself to new limits, and day of the contest tomorrow. It's coming up. I'll be ready to push myself to it. It's a wild limit.
A wild limit for sure. I mean, look at that, 76. I think that was the record last year, the year before.
How long does he have to eat?
I
What's the
believe
time
it's
limit?
10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew, I got a stomach ache for him.
I mean,
It's not pretty to watch. If you've ever
no.
watched it, it's not.
I have.
It's not pretty. I'm fine until the dunking the buns in water.
That's just the thought of that, like soggy buns.
But Chris, do you think you could hang?
You said how many did you eat?
I think 4, but now I'm going to up it to 5.
In 10 minutes.
I think I could do 4 with the condiments. I think I could do 5 to 6 without.
So that means you only got a little more than 70 to go.
Yeah. Like, I'm almost there.
You're almost there.
Yeah, just a little bit of training.
That's right. Next
bigger
year,
gut.
Next year is your year.
Yay.
We'll
The
see.
thing is, bigger gut, but like Joey Chestnut seems like a normal sized
He
guy.
does.
Yeah.
And what do you say he likes pushing his body to the limit?
He could do that in other ways, in my opinion.
Many other ways. Exactly.
I'm impressed, I guess.
Well, thanks for believing in me, Ben.
That's right. I do.
Yeah,
You believe in me?
sure.
I don't
Why
know.
not? I just don't want you to do it.
Okay, you have doubting eyes. I understand. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I
I
think
think
I'm
anybody who can wear a red blazer can certainly win a hot dog eating contest.
Hey, Richard Devane is out there as well.
Maybe it'll be between you two. We haven't talked to him about it, but wouldn't that be interesting?
Oh, okay, next 4th of July, it's on. You heard it right here.
We'll officiate.
Chris versus Richard, here we go. I want to focus strictly on the development of this potential system because it is such a big impact for our weekend. All you need to know, I already showed you, and we'll brush up on the 7-day forecast one more time, that today, great, 94. Tomorrow, great, 92. After that, it's a big question mark for the Charlotte area. If you have any plans along the Carolina shoreline, there's going to be impacts. Now we have a 60% chance for development over the next 2 days. After that, it'll make landfall, and then poof, it's a distant memory, becomes the remnants of the system. Whenever these numbers match, you know that you're within the 48-hour time frame. The next update that we're going to see here is going to be 11 a.m. So right now we're looking at 30-mile-per-hour winds. It looks like the hurricane hunters are going to investigate this a little bit later on. You can start to see the center of circulation, so it's right here. Whenever you have a setup like this is asymmetrical, as it's called. This is showing signs that most likely this will be a subtropical storm, so it doesn't have all the features of a typical tropical storm setup, but it has to get to 40 miles per hour, and we have a lot of things that are working against this, so it might be just tropical depression number 3 that could change over to eventually tropical storm or subtropical storm, which would be Chantal if it gets a name. But truly, if it gets a name, if it's called tropical depression, it's going to be the same impacts, maybe just a difference of 5-mile-per-hour winds. You're still going to have heavy rain along the shorelines. A lot of clouds increase in South Carolina. We'll see signs of clouds increasing, even a slight chance for rain in the southeastern part of our viewing area. But that low is still going to really turn your beach day upside down for the South Carolina shoreline. Even if you do get a little bit of sunshine, the clouds break, it's still going to be breezy. But the difference between tropical and subtropical, it's when the strongest winds are away from the center. That is one sign of subtropical system development. But then also when you have upper level dynamics in warm water, that's a front that's attached to it. It often could be a subtropical storm. But regardless of if it's named or it's subtropical, tropical, still going to pick the waves up to upwards around 10 feet, and that's out in the Atlantic, and anywhere from about 2 to 5 feet, right a little bit close to the shoreline. Wouldn't be surprised if it is waves up to 5 feet around Myrtle Beach. So really a choppy sea, likely going to be high rip current danger also going forward over the next few days. So that's also not a good situation. So either yellow or red flag will be waving at the beach. Here's a close look at our max wind forecast. It starts to get a little bit more around the center, so it's trying to become tropical at this point. This point you're also looking at a closed low. So I think it's really tonight into tomorrow morning is the best chance for this to be upgraded to a tropical storm. And then eventually it's going to work its way inland. I would say really late day, the center is going to make landfall a little bit closer to Charleston to Hilton Head. That's the current timing that we're seeing here. And then boom, once it moves over land, it really unravels. Then you just have general rain. But I think as it gets a little bit closer to us, we are looking at some gustier winds for tomorrow. So today is almost looking like the better day for the afternoon for grilling and a cookout. Well, just so happens the 4th of July where we do most of that activity. But the napkins could be blowing around tomorrow afternoon with gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. And then still a gusty start to your Sunday morning, but then it gets actually a little bit lighter as we work our way through the day. So real quick, let's breeze through this for our future cast. We're seeing on and off clouds over the next couple of days. Still mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies on an average. First signs of rain between 4 and 7 from Rockingham to Lancaster and areas down to the south. And then we have increasing cloud cover through your Sunday morning. Best chance for rain is during the morning time with some isolated thunderstorms for the afternoon. At this point, you're seeing some areas of sunshine, mostly cloudy to overcast skies. And eventually the system's going to break up, and I think we could end the day with some sunshine. So not a complete washout by any stretch of the imagination. It's a fairly weak system as far as tropical systems are concerned. 87 degrees for right now, but if we are looking at the system does start to break, Majestic tomorrow morning or Brittany later in the afternoon might call for a warmer temperature, but once the system clears, the tropical moisture will remain. A hot and muggy forecast in the mid-90s Monday and Tuesday. Better chances for those pop-up showers and thunderstorms Wednesday and Thursday. Majestic, how are you doing so far on your 4th of July?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to get outside and enjoy the nice weather. It is so beautiful. One of those days where you wake up, you look outside, and you know it's going to be a good day because we're waking up to a picture-perfect forecast for our 4th of July. Look at this. This is I-85 at Statesville Ave. It's been a very quiet morning commute for many of you because, well, a lot of people aren't heading off to work this morning. One thing you can do if you're looking for something to do with the kids, you can go to the Myers Park neighborhood. They actually have a 4th of July parade that's starting at 10 o'clock this morning. It starts at Queens University Clock Tower. They're inviting everyone to come on down. You can bring your lawn chairs and watch the parade, or you can actually participate if you have a bike or a scooter or even a golf cart. So something fun to do for you this morning. You can see I-77 there at York County is looking all right. Not bad out there. Grab those sunglasses. Make sure you're staying safe before you're traveling. According to AAA, they're saying that now's the best time to travel for your 4th of July, but between noon and 7 o'clock, you're going to start to see more cars out on those roads. We'll have another check on those roads coming up here shortly.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. We are going to take a quick break, but make sure you keep it right here with WCNC Plus. In fact, just leave us on all day. We're going to have another update on weather and traffic, and we'll be back with more of the day's top headlines at the top of the hour. Our Jane Monreal is going to take over from our live Impact News studio.
4th of July, everybody. Red, white, and blue. And the red here represents that it could feel like 95, 96. Not too much. That wasn't a word. Not too much of a heat index for the afternoon. See, we're super excited here. Overly excited. I can't even speak. 94 degrees for a high today, and then overnight tonight down to 70, 92 for tomorrow, and then 87 degrees for your Sunday. Chance for more clouds and rain will bring that temperature down, especially in the morning time. After that, usual summertime pattern, the lower to the mid-90s Monday through Thursday. Better chance for rain on Wednesday and Thursday. Majestic, take it away and speak better than I just did.
All right, here we go. We'll give it our best try. That's for sure. I-77 here. It is beautiful. No problems there. Out on York County, good morning to everyone. It has been so quiet, so if you're heading out the door, now's a good time because we're hardly seeing any traffic whatsoever. Statesville Ave, I-85 looks fantastic and all green as we're switching it over to my live traffic maps. Maybe you're heading out to Morganton. Lake James sounds like a fun place to be for your 4th of July. Maybe Lake Norman out there towards Cornelius and Huntersville. Again, no problems to report as of now. Have a great 4th.